stained with wine, clogged with breasts of adolescents, nuzzling, tearing, shrieking, beating. God, why were we fashioned so?
The poor girl's putty.
I wish she hadn't sent me this beastly book. I must say something nice about it.
The binding's very dashing.
She used to be such fun before she married that gloomy little man.
She always was such a fierce posies. It's so silly of people to try and cultivate the artistic temperament. Alphonse, she's just a normal, bouncing Englishwoman.
You didn't shave this morning.
I know I didn't. I'm going to in a moment. When I finish this.
I sometimes wish we were more normal and bouncing, Simon.
Why?
I should like to be a fresh, open-air girl with a passion for games.
Thank God you're not.
It would be so soothing.
Not in this house.
Where's Mother?
In the garden, practicing.
Practicing.
She's learning the names of flowers by heart.
What's she up to?
She's probably got a plan about impressing somebody.
I wonder who.
Some dreary, infatuated young man who'll arrive soon, I expect.
Not today. You don't think she's asked anyone down today, do you?
His father noticed anything?
No, he's too immersed in work.
Perhaps Clara will know.
Yell for her.
Clara! Clara!
Oh, Simon, I do hope she hasn't asked anyone down today.
Why? Have you?
Yes.
Why on earth did you tell me?
I don't think you'd care one way or another.
Who is it?
Richard Gretham.
How exciting. Never heard of him.
Shouldn't have flaunt your ignorance if I were you. It makes you look silly. Everybody's heard of Richard Gretham.
How lovely for them.
He's a frightfully well-known diplomat. I met him at the main rhinestones.
He'll need all his diplomacy here.
I warned him not to expect good manners, but I hope you'll be as pleasant to him as you can.
I've never met any diplomats, Sorrel, but as a class, I'm extremely prejudiced against them. They're all so suave and polished and debonair.
You could be a little more polished without losing caste.
When you have the papers with them.
What papers?
How many papers?
Oh, she'd confine your biting irony to your caricatures, Simon.
And I wish you confine your girlish infatuations to London and not force them upon your defenseless family.
I shall keep him out of your way as much as possible.
Do, darling. Clara, has Mother asked anybody down this weekend?
I don't know, dear. There isn't much food in the house and Amy's got toothache.
I've got some oil of clothes somewhere.
She tried that, but it only burnt her tongue. The poor girl's been writhing about us in the scullery.
You haven't forgotten to put those flowers in the Japanese room.
The Japanese room is essentially feminine and entirely unsuited for a pet in a foreign office.
Shut up, Simon.
The room looks lovely, dear. You needn't worry. Just like your mother's dressing room on opening night.
How restful.
Have you told her about your boyfriend?
Not boyfriend, Clara.
Well, whatever he is.
I think Sorrel's beginning to be a bit ashamed of herself, Clara. I don't altogether blame her. We all are a slapdash.
Are you going to leave that picture in the guest bathroom, dear? I don't know if it's quite the thing. Lots of pink, naked women rolling about in a field.
New pursuit could be very beautiful, Clara.
Oh, can it? Perhaps being a dresser for so long has spoiled me alive for it.
Clara's looking very tired, Sorrel. We ought to hire more servants and not to depend on her so much.
You know we can never keep them. You're right about us being slapdash, Simon. I wish we weren't.
Does it matter?
It must, I think, to other people.
It's not our fault. It's the way we've been brought up.
Well, if we were clever enough to realize that, we ought to be clever enough to change ourselves.
I'm not sure I want to.
We're so awfully bad-mannered.
Not to who we like.
The people we like put up with it because they like us.
But what do you mean exactly by bad mannered? Lack of small talk and social tricks?
We never attempt to look after people when they come here.
Why should we? It's loads of something looked after.
Yes, but people like little attentions. We never once asked anyone if they'd slept with them.
I consider that an impertinence anyhow.
Well, I'm going to try to improve.
You're only going on like this because you got a mania, a diplomat. This will return to normal.
Abnormal. Simon, that's what we are. Abnormal. People stare in astonishment when we say what we consider perfectly ordinary things.
It's no use worrying, darling. We just do things differently is all. And if they don't like it, they must love it.
You look awfully dirty, Simon. What have you been doing?
Not washing very much.
Well, you should, darling, really. It's so bad for your skin to leave things about on it.
Clara says Amy's got toothache.
Oh, dear! I've got some oil of cloves in my medicine cupboard. Who is Amy?
The scullery maid, I think.
How extraordinary.
She doesn't look any a bit.
Much more glossy. I do hope Clara has remembered about the Japanese room.
Japanese room?
Yes, I told her to put some flowers in it and to take Simon's flannels out of the wardrobe drawer.
So did I.
Why?
I've asked Richard Gretham down for the weekend. I didn't think you'd mind.
Mind? How dare you do such a thing?
He's a diplomat.
That makes it much worse. Where's he going to sleep?
The Japanese room.
Oh, no, he isn't. Sandy Tyrell is sleeping there.
There, now, what did I tell you?
Sandy, what?
Tyrell, dear.
Why didn't you tell us, Mother?
I did. I've spoken of nothing but Sandy Tyrell for days. I adore Sandy Tyrell.
You've never even mentioned him.
Who is he, Mother?
He's a perfect darling. And madly in love with me. At least, it isn't me, really. It's my celebrated actress glamour. It gives me a divinely cozy feeling. I met him at Norwich Friends.
Oh, Mother, I wish you'd given up on this sort of thing.
What exactly do you mean by this sort of thing, Sorrel?
You know perfectly well what I mean.
Are you attempting to criticize me?
I just thought you'd be above encouraging silly, callow young men who are infatuated by your name.
That may be true, but I shall allow nobody but myself to say it. I'd hoped to grow up to be a good daughter, not a critical aunt.
It's so terribly cheap.
Cheap? Nonsense. What about your diplomat?
Surely that's a little different, dear.
If you mean that because you happen to be a vigorous ingenue of 19, you have the complete monopoly of any amorous adventure that may be about, I feel it in my firm duty to disillusion you.
But, Mother...
Anyone would think I was 80 the way you go on. It was my mistake not sending you to boarding schools and you coming back and me being your elder sister.
Wouldn't have been of any use, darling. Everybody knows we're your son and daughter.
Only because I was stupid enough to dandy you about in front of the cameras when you were little. I knew I should regret it.
I don't see any point in trying to be younger than you are.
At your age, dear, it would be indecent if you did.
But, Mother, darling, don't you think it's awfully undignified for you to go flaunting about with young men?
I don't flaunt about. I never have. I've been morally an extremely nice woman all my life. More or less. And if dabbling gives me pleasure, then I don't see why I shouldn't dabble.
But it oughtn't give you pleasure anymore.
You know, Sorrel, you grow more damnably feminine every day. I wish I brought you up differently.
I'm proud of being feminine.
You're a darling, and I adore you. And you're so pretty. And I'm madly jealous of you.
Are you really? How lovely.
You will be nice to Sandy, won't you?
Can't he sleep in little hell?
My dear, he's frightfully athletic, and those hot water pipes will sap his vitality.
They'll sap Richard's vitality too.
Oh, he won't notice them. He's probably used to scorching tropical embassies with polkas waving and everything.
He's sure to be deadly anyhow.
You're getting far too blasé and exclusive, Simon.
Nothing of the sort. I only loathe being hearty to your men friends.
You've never even been civil to my friends, men or women.
Don't bicker.
Anyhow, the Japanese room is a woman's room, and a woman ought to have it.
I promised it to Sandy. He loves anything Japanese.
So does Myra.
Myra.
Myra Arundel. I've asked her down.
You've what?
I've asked Myra down for the weekend. She's awfully pleasing.
Well, all I can say is it's beastly of you. You could have warned me. What on earth would Richard say?
Something exquisitely non-committal, I expect.
This is too much. Do you mean to tell me, Simon, that you asked
Yes, Mother, I do. I've asked Myra down for the weekend, and I have a perfect right to. You boys were also to be free about things.
Well, Myra Arundel is straining freedom to its utmost limits.
Don't you like her?
No, dear. I detest her. She's far too old for you. And she goes about using sex as a sort of shrimping net.
Really, Mother?
It's no use being cross. You know perfectly well I dislike her, and that's why you never told me she was coming until it was too late to stop her. That's intolerable of you.
Well, whether she comes or not is a matter of extreme indifference to me, but I'm afraid Richard won't like her very much.
You're afraid he'll like her too much.
That was an offensive remark, Simon, and rather silly.
Why on earth can't you fall in love with nice young girls instead of self-conscious vampires?
She's not a vampire. I never said I was in love with her.
Oh, he's crazy about her. She butters him up and admires his sketches.
What's about you picking up old gentlemen at dances?
He's not old.
You both upset me thoroughly. I wanted a nice, restful weekend, with moments of Sandy's ingenuous affection to warm the cockles of my heart when I felt in the mood. And now, The house is going to be full of discord. Not enough food, everyone fighting for the bath. Perfect agony. I wish I were dead.
You needn't worry about Myra and me. We shall keep it out of everybody's way.
I shall take Richard on the river all day tomorrow.
In what?
The punt.
I absolutely forbid you to go anywhere near the punt.
It's sure to rain anyhow.
What your father will say, I tremble to think. He needs complete quiet to finish off this sinful woman.
I see no reason for there to be any noise unless Sandy, what's his name, is given shouting.
If you're rude to Sandy, I shall be extremely angry.
Oh,
He's coming all the way down
oh,
here, especially to
Why are you making such a noise?
I think I'm going mad.
Why hasn't Clara brought me my tea?
I don't know.
Where is Clara?
Do stop firing questions at me, David.
Why are you all so irritable? What's happening?
Here's your tea. I'm sorry I'm late with it. Amy forgot to put the kettle on. She's got terrible toothache.
Poor girl. Give us some oil of cloves.
If anyone else mentions oil of clothes, I shall do something desperate.
It's wonderful stuff. Where's Zoe?
She was in the garden this morning.
I suppose no one thought of giving her any lunch.
I put it down by the kitchen table as usual, but she never came in for it.
She's probably mousing.
She isn't old enough yet. She might have fallen into the river. For all you care. I think it's a shame.
Don't you worry your head. Zoe won't come to any harm. She's too wily.
I don't want to be disturbed. Listen, Simon, there's a perfectly sweet flapper coming down by the 4:30. Will you go out and meet her and be nice to her? She's an abject fool, but a useful type, and I wish to study her a little in domestic surroundings. She can sleep in the Japanese room.
I should like someone to play me something very beautiful on the piano.
Oh, down, everything. Down, down, down.
Swearing doesn't help.
Helps me a lot.
What does Father mean going on like this?
In view of the imminent reception, you'd better go and shave, Simon.
This is perfectly beastly. Whenever I make a plan, it's always done by someone. I should like to be a free agent, able to do whatever I like without being cluttered up and frustrated by the family.
It grieves me to hear you say that, Sorrel.
Don't be infuriating, Mother.
A change has come over my children as of late. I've tried to shut my eyes to it, but in vain. At my time of life, one must face the bitter facts.
This is going to be the blackest Saturday till Monday we've ever spent.
You mustn't cry, Sorrel.
Don't sympathize with me. It's only temper.
Lay your head on my shoulder, dear.
Your head like the golden fleece.
Richard will have to have little hell in that horrible flap of the Japanese room.
Over my dead body.
Oh, Mother, what are we to do?
We must be very, very kind to everyone.
Now then, Mama, none of that.
Son, what do you mean?
You were being very beautiful. Sad.
But I am beautiful and sad.
You're not particularly beautiful, darling. You never were.
Never mind. I make thousands think I was.
That's for being sad.
Now, Simon, I will not allow you to dictate me like this. If I say I'm sad, then I am sad. You don't understand because you're precocious and tiresome. There comes a time in all women's lives
Oh,
when
my dear!
What did you say, Saul?
I said, oh dear.
Well, you mustn't say it again because it annoys me.
You're such a lovely hypocrite.
I don't know what I've done to be cursed with such ungrateful children. It's very cruel at my time of life to have to deal
There
with
you
such...
go again.
You're getting far too tall, Saul.
Sorry, Mother.
I intend to forget entirely about all these dreadful people coming. My mind, henceforth, shall be blank on the subject.
It's all very fine, Mother, but
I've made a great decision this morning.
What kind of decision?
It's a secret.
you aren't going to tell us?
Of course. I meant, it's supposed to be a secret from your father.
Well, what is it?
I'm going back to the stage.
I knew it.
I'm stagnating here. I won't stagnate as long as there's breath left in my body.
Do you think it's wise? You left so finally last year. What excuse will you give for returning so soon?
My public, dear. Letters from my public.
Have you got any?
One or two. But that's what's decided me, really. I ought to have hundreds.
We'll write you some lovely ones and you can publish them in the papers.
Of course.
You will be dignified about it all, won't you, darling?
I'm much more dignified on the stage than in the country. It's my milieu. I've tried awfully hard to be landed gentry, but without any real success. I long for excitement and glamour.
Have you got a play?
I think I shall revive. Love's whirlwind.
Oh, Father will be furious.
Oh, Mother, I can't help that.
It's such a fearful play.
It's a marvelous part. You mustn't say too much against it, Saul. I'm willing to laugh at it a little myself. But after all, it was one of my greatest successes.
Oh, it's appalling, but I love it. It makes me laugh.
The public loves it too, and it doesn't make them laugh much. You are a fool, a blind, pitiable fool. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall play in the manner of.
Who will go out?
I don't mind.
No, you always get something quickly.
What do we have to do? Choose an advert, and then
Someone goes out, you see, and then comes back in. You've chosen one amongst yourselves, and then he or she, whoever it is, has some sort of question.
Not an ordinary question, Simon. They have to ask them to do something in the manner of. And then you see.
Then you see, you are whatever it is.
The answer to the questions.
What sorts of things is one expected to do?
quite usual things like reciting if or playing the piano.
I can't play the piano.
Never mind, you can fake it, as long as it conveys the idea of the word.
The word we've all thought of. Yes, the word we've chosen, and whoever it is off the room. I'm afraid I don't quite understand yet.
Never mind, honestly. Someone goes out, you see.
I'll go the first time, just to show her.
It's quite simple. All you do is just act in the manner of the word.
Look here, everybody, I'm going out.
Go on, Sorrel.
The history game is quite fun. When two people go out and come back as Mary the Queen of Scots and Crippen or somebody.
I'll show you, Sandy. You see?
There's always how and where. We haven't played that for ages.
We'll do that afterwards. We're doing this now. Go on, Sorrel.
Don't be too long.
Now.
Bitterly.
No, we did that last week. She'll know.
Intensely.
Too difficult.
There was an amusing game we played once at the Harrington's house. Everyone was blindfolded except
This
us.
one's not big enough for that. What about to win something?
I wish I knew what we had to do. You'll see when we start playing.
If we start playing.
Oh, Mother's brilliant at this. Do you remember when we played at the Mackenzies?
Yes, and Rob got so cross when I kissed Freddie's ear at the manner of the word.
What was the word?
I can't remember.
Perhaps it's as well.
What about dreary?
Not definite enough.
Winsomely is best.
These seems much degrading.
Young Norman Robertson used to be marvelous. Do you remember?
He has a wonderful sense of humor.
He's lost it all since his marriage.
I didn't know you knew him.
Well, considering he married my cousin,
We don't seem to be getting on with the game.
That's because we haven't thought of a word yet.
rightly.
Too obvious.
Very well then, don't snap at me.
Saucily. I've got a lovely idea for saucily.
I should think rudely would be easiest.
Don't you sound, Myra.
The great thing is to get an obscure word.
Oh, it's up to Irene as we get. She knows messes of obscure words.
She's probably gotten them all from her obscure friends.
It's no use being catty about Irene.
She's a perfect darling.
I wasn't being catty at all.
Yes, you were.
Hurry up.
Quickly now. We must think.
Appendicitis.
That's not an adverb.
You're thinking of charades.
Charades are kind of good fun.
Yes, but we don't have to be doing that for the moment. Sorry.
Saucily.
No, winsomely is best.
All right, call her in.
Sorrel, come on. We're ready.
Which is it? Socially or winsomely?
Winsomely.
Take a flower out of that vase and give it to Richard.
Very well.
Marvelous, Mother.
Oh, lovely. Myra, say goodbye to everyone in the manner of the word.
Goodbye, it has really been most delightful.
Oh,
no.
Why? What do you mean?
You haven't got the right intonation a bit.
Oh, Mother darling, do shut up.
Remember what an advantage you have over we poor amateurs, Judith, having been a professional for so long.
I don't like that so long very much.
Do you think we might get on now?
Go to the next one. I'm not playing anymore.
Oh, please do. You're simply splendid.
It doesn't matter. Richard. Eat a chocolate in the manner of the word.
I've forgotten what it is.
You remember?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
I can't think what that's meant to be.
I was doing my best.
It's so frightfully easy, and nobody can do it right.
I believe you've muddled it up.
You'd better go on to the next one, then.
What word were you doing? Whisper.
Saucy.
I knew it. He was doing the wrong word.
I'm so sorry.
Give him another chance.
No, it's Jackie's turn now. Don't ask him again.
Do a dance in the manner of the word.
No, I can't.
Nonsense. Of course you can.
Honestly, I can't.
Go on, have a shot at it.
No, I'd much rather not. Count me out.
Really, the ridiculous fuss everyone makes.
I'm awfully stupid at anything like this.
It's only a game after all.
Come along, try.
I couldn't. Please don't ask me to. I simply couldn't.
Leave her alone if she doesn't want to.
What's the use of playing if people won't do it properly?
It's so simple.
It's awfully difficult if you haven't done it before.
Go on,
Once
Snatch.
everyone's in it, we won't play it all.
Now then, don't lose your temper.
Lose my temper. I like that. No one's giving me the slightest indication of what the word is. You won't argue.
Talk. Everybody talks too much.
It's so surprising to me when people won't play up. After all,
It's a hateful game anyhow, and I don't want to play it again ever.
You haven't played it at all yet.
Don't be rude, Sorrel.
Really, Simon, the way you go on is infuriating.
It's always the same with you. Whenever Sorrel goes out, she gets quarrelsome.
Quarrelsome.
Don't worry, Jackie. You needn't do anything you don't want to.
I think for the future, we'd better confine our efforts to social conversation and not attempt anything in the least bit of intelligence.
How could you be so unkind, Mother?
Don't speak to me like that, Simon.
It's
You
not
know
my
this.
fault. I know I'm awfully silly at anything like this. But it embarrasses me so terribly doing anything in front of people.
I should think the word is winsomely.
You must have been listening outside the door then.
Not at all. Miss Corrington gave it away.
Why Miss Corrington all of a sudden? You've been calling her Jackie all evening. You're far too grand, Sorrel.
No, absolutely, Madeline. I'll never play a game with you as long as I live.
That won't break my heart.
Stop.
Come on to the garden, Jackie. I'm sick of this.
Don't let him take you out on the river. He isn't very good at it.
Haha, very funny.
Sorrel, you're behaving disgracefully.
Simon had to go into the army or something.
You both ought to be in reformatories.
This always happens whenever we play a game. We're a beastly family, and I hate us.
Speak for yourself, dear.
I can't. That's speaking for everyone else, too. We're all exactly the same, and I'm ashamed of us. Come to the library, Sandy.
Charming. It's all perfectly charming.
I think it would be better, Judith, if you exercised a little more influence over the children.
That's right. Blame it all on me.
After all, you started it by snapping everybody up.
You ought to have never married me, David. It was a great mistake.
The atmosphere of this house is becoming more unbearable every day, and all because Simon and Sorrel are allowed to do exactly what they like.
You sit upstairs all day, writing your novels.
Novels which earn us our daily bread.
Daily bread. Nonsense. We've got enough money to keep us in comfort until we die.
Which will be very soon if we can't get a little peace. Come out into the garden.
I sincerely hope the night air will cool you.
I don't know what's happened to you lately, Judith.
Nothing's happened to me. Nothing ever does. You're far too smug to allow it.
Smug. Thank you.
Yes, smug, 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 and pompous!
I hope you haven't been drinking lately, dear.
Drinking. That's very amusing.
I think it's rather tragic at your time of life.
David's been a good husband to me, but he's wearing a bit thin now.
Would you like me to leave you alone for a little?
Why? Are you afraid I shall become violent?
No, I merely thought perhaps I was in the way.
I hope you're not embarrassed. I couldn't bear for you to be embarrassed.
Not in the least.
Marriage is a hideous spell altogether, don't you think?
I'm hardly qualified to judge, you see.
Do stop being so non-committal. Just for once. It's doubly annoying in the face of us all having lost control so lamentably.
I'm so sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry for, really. Because that's your particular thing, isn't it? Observing everything and not giving yourself away an inch.
I suppose it is.
You'll get used to us in time. And then you'll feel cozier. Why don't you come sit down?
I'm enjoying myself very much.
That's very sweet of you to say, but I don't see how you can be.
But I am.
There now, that was quite a genuine laugh. We're getting on. Are you in love with Sorrel?
In love with sorrow.
There now. I've killed it. I've murdered that little tender feeling of comfort that was stealing over you. By sheer tactlessness. Will you teach me to be tactful?
Did you really think I was in love with sorrow?
It's so difficult to tell, isn't it? I mean, you may not know yourself. She's very attractive.
She is. Very.
Have you ever heard her sing?
No, not yet.
She sings beautifully.
You're an extraordinary person.
In what way extraordinary?
When I first met Sorrel, I guessed what you'd be like.
Did you now? And am I?
Exactly.
Well then, shall we sit down again? I want you to tell me about you and all of the wonderful things you've done.
I've done nothing.
What a shame. Why not?
I never realized how dead I am until I meet people like you. It's depressing, you know?
What nonsense. You're not a bit dead.
I should like to know exactly what you're thinking.
I was thinking of calling you Richard. It's such a nice and compromising name.
Oh yes, I'd be very flattered if you would.
I wouldn't suggest you calling me Judith until you feel quite comfortable about me.
But I do. Judith.
Well then, would you give me a chocolate?
Certainly.
Oh, what a divine watch!
I got it in Japan 3 years ago. All of the designs mean different things.
What do they mean?
They're charms for happiness, luck, and love.
Which one is for love?
This one.
What a dear! Richard!
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
What are we to do? What are we to do?
I don't know.
David must be told. Everything.
Everything?
Yes, everything. There comes a time in life when one should be honest. Absolutely honest. I've trained myself to shun the underhand methods other women so often employ. The truth must be faced, fair and square.
The truth? I don't quite understand.
Dear Richard, you're trying to spare me, I know. You're so chivalrous. But it's no use. As I said before, David's been a good husband to me. According to his lights. And this may break him up, rather. But that can't be helped. I wonder how he'll take it. They say suffering's good for writers. That it strengthens their psychology. Oh, my poor David. Never mind, you'd better go out to the garden and wait.
Wait? What for?
For me, Richard, for me. Take the summer house, I'll come to you.
Look here, Judith, I apologize for what I've done, but...
Don't make it any harder for me. I'm quite resolved, and it's the only possible way.
Judith!
Go, go,
Judith!
go. why?
It was all my fault.
What a fool I've been. A blind fool.
Mother, are you really upset?
Stunned.
But darling.
Don't speak for a minute, Sorrel. We must all be very quiet and think.
There was nothing really, for heaven's sake.
Nothing? I open the library door casually, and what do I see? I ask you, what do I see?
I'm most awfully sorry.
Shh! It has gone far beyond superficial apologies.
Mother, be natural for a minute.
I don't know what you mean, Sorrel. I'm trying to realize a very bitter truth as calmly as I can.
There's nothing so very bitter about it.
My poor child.
All right, then.
I love Sandy, and he loves me. That's the only possible excuse for your behavior.
Why shouldn't we love each other if we want to?
Sandy was in love with me this afternoon.
Not real love. You know it wasn't.
I know now.
I say, look here. I'm most awfully sorry.
I forgive you. Completely. There. We must all be good friends. Always.
Well, that's that.
I resent your tone, Sorrel. You don't seem to realize that I've made a great sacrifice.
Sorry, Mother.
I give you to Sandy. Unconditionally.
Thanks awfully, Mrs. Bates.
You can call me Judith, can't you? It's not much to ask.
But it turned out all right eventually.
When shall I be able to read it?
I'll send you the proofs. You can help me correct them.
How divine. I shall feel most important.
Would you like anything?
No thanks.
I think I'll have a drink.
Very well, get me some plain soda water then.
There isn't any ice. Time.
Not a bit.
My apologies, dear.
It's okay.
Here you are.
Thank you. I wonder where everybody is.
Not here, thank God.
It must be dreadfully worrying of you having a house full of people.
Depends on the people.
I have a slight confession to make.
Confession.
Yes, do you know why I came down here?
Not in the least, I suppose one of us asked you, didn't they?
Yes, they asked me, but
Well,
I was invited down once before, last September.
I was in America then.
Exactly.
How do you mean, exactly?
I didn't come. I'm a very determined woman, you know, and I made up my mind to meet you ages ago.
That's very charming of you. Not much to meet, really.
You see, I'd read Broken Reeds.
Did you like it?
Like it? I thought it was the finest novel I've ever read.
There now.
How do you manage to know so much about women?
I'm afraid my knowledge of them is sadly superficial.
You can't call Evelyn's character superficial. It's amazing.
Why are you being so nice to me? Have you got a plan about something?
How suspicious you are.
I can't help it. You're very attractive. And I'm always suspicious of attractive people. On principle.
Not a very good principle.
I'll tell you something. Strictly between ourselves.
Do.
You're wrong about me.
Wrong? In what way?
I write very bad novels.
Don't be so ridiculous.
And you know I do because you're an intelligent person.
I know nothing of the sort.
Why are you being nice to me?
Because I want to be.
Why?
Because you're a rather charming and amusing man.
Splendid.
And I think I've rather lost my heart to you.
Shall we elope?
David!
There now, you've called me David.
Do you mind?
Not at all.
I don't think you're being very kind.
And what makes you think that?
Well, you being the rather cynical author, laughing up his sleeve at a gushing admirer.
I think you're a very interesting woman. And extremely nice.
Do you?
Yes. Shall I make love to you?
Really? I wish you wouldn't say things like that.
I've knocked you off your plate. I'll look away for a minute while you climb onto it again.
This is wonderful.
That's right. Now then.
Now then what?
You're adorable. You're magnificent. You're tawny.
I'm not tawny.
Don't argue.
This is sheer affectation.
Affectation is very nice.
No, it isn't. It's odious.
You mustn't get cross.
I'm not in the least cross.
Yes, you are. You're very alone.
Alluring.
Harry.
I can hear your brain clicking. It's funny.
That was rather rude.
You've been consistently rude to me for hours.
Never mind.
Why have you?
I'm always rude to people I like.
Do you like me?
Enormously.
How sweet of you.
But I don't like no
Methods? What methods?
You're far too pleasant to occupy yourself with the commonplace.
And you spoil yourself trying to be clever.
Thank you.
Anyways, I don't know what you mean by commonplace.
You mean you want me to explain?
Not at all.
Very well, I will.
I shan't listen.
You'll pretend not to, but you'll hear every word, really.
You're so inscrutable and quizzical. Just what a feminine psychologist would be.
Aren't I?
You frighten me dreadfully.
Darling.
Don't call me darling.
That's unreasonable. You've been trying to make me all the evening.
Your conceit is outrageous.
It's not conceit at all. You've been firmly buttering me up because you want a nice little intrigue.
How dare you?
It's true, it's true. If it weren't, you wouldn't be so angry.
I think you're insufferable.
Myra, dear Myra,
Don't touch me.
let's have a nice little intrigue. The only reason I've been so annoying is because I love to see things as they are first, and then pretend they're what they're not.
Words. Masses and masses of words.
They're great fun to play with.
I'm glad you think so. Personally, they bore me stiff.
Myra, don't be statuesque.
Let go of my hand.
You're charming.
Let go of my hand.
I won't.
You will.
You're perfectly sweet.
David.
You must say that.
You must forgive me for interrupting.
Are there any strawberries in the house?
No, David.
I should like a strawberry more than anything in the world.
This is a very unpleasant situation, David.
Horrible.
We'd better talk
It's all over. I shall do nothing of the sort.
Please! Please don't be difficult.
I apologize, Judy.
Don't apologize. I quite understand.
Please, David, let go of my hand. I should like to go to bed.
I should stay if I were you. It would be more dignified.
There isn't any real necessity for a scene.
I don't want a scene. I just want to straighten things out.
Very well. Go
June has always been an unlucky month for me.
Look here, I would like to say one thing.
I don't wish to hear any explanations or excuses. They're so cheap. This was bound to happen sooner or later. It always does. To everyone. The best thing to do is just keep calm.
I am. Perfect.
There's such a thing as being too calm, David.
Sorry, dear.
Life has dealt me another blow. But I don't mind.
What did you say?
I said life has dealt me another blow, but I don't mind.
Rubbish!
Don't say. Don't say.
No, Judith.
Let me speak. It is my right.
I don't see why.
I am the injured party, am I not?
Injured?
Yes, extremely injured.
Injured. This is all nonsense. Sheer unbridled nonsense.
You can't evade the real issues as calmly as that, David. I've known for a long time. I've realized subconsciously that you've stopped caring for me in that way.
What do you mean, that way?
That way! It's rather tragic, but quite inevitable. I'm growing old now. Men don't grow like women do, as you'll find to your cost, Myra, in years. David has retained his youth astonishingly. Perhaps because he has had fewer responsibilities and cares than I.
This is all ridiculous hysteria.
No, Myra. Judith is right. What are we to do?
Do? Nothing.
Do you love her truly, David?
Madly.
David!
You thought just now that I was joking. Couldn't you see that all my flippancy was just a mask, hiding my real emotions, crushing them down desperately?
But David, I knew it!
The time has come for the dividing of ways.
What on earth do you mean?
I mean that I am not the sort of woman to hold a man against his will.
You're both making a mountain out of a molehill. David doesn't love me and I don't love him.
You do love him. I can see it in your eyes, in your every gesture. David, I give you to her. Freely and without rancor. We must all be good friends. Always.
Judith, do you mean this?
You know I do.
How can we ever repay?
Just by being happy. I may leave this house later on, as its associations may become painful. If especially in the autumn.
Look here, Judith, I would like
October is such a mournful month in England. I think maybe I shall travel abroad. Perhaps a pension somewhere in Italy with cypresses in the garden. I've always loved cypresses. They're such sad, weary trees.
What about the children?
We will share them.
I'll pay you exactly half the royalties I received from everything, Judith.
That's very generous of you.
You've been magnificent. This is a crisis in our lives, and thanks to you.
Judith, I will...
Myra! Darling, we owe it to Judith to keep control of our emotions. A scene would be agonizing for her now. She's been brave and absolutely splendid throughout.
Yes?
Let's not make things harder for her than we can help. We'll go into the garden.
I will not.
go into the garden.
Please go. I don't think I can bear any more just now.
So, this is the end, Judith.
Yes, my dear. The end.
Mother, father, I have important news to tell you.
Very well.
Where's Sorrel?
In the library, I'm afraid.
Sorrel, come. I have something vital to tell you.
Oh, God.
You seem excited, my boy.
What's happened?
What's the matter?
I wish Roland looked so depressed. It's good news.
Good news! I thought perhaps Jackie could...
No, Jackie hasn't been drowned. She's been something else.
Simon, what do you mean?
Jackie! Jackie's been engaged.
What?
To me!
Simon! Good heavens! Simon, my boy!
Really?
What's the matter with you crying, Mother?
All my chicks leaving the nest. Now, I shall only have my memories left. Jackie, come and kiss me. You must promise to make my son happy.
But Mrs. Bliss,
I have not been a mother for nothing.
it's not true. We don't love
Please, you're trying to spare my feelings, I know.
Well, I'm not going to spare your feelings or anyone else's. You're the most infuriating set of hypocrites I've ever seen. This house is a complete featherbed of false emotions. You're posing, self-centered egotists, and I'm sick to death of you.
Myra!
Don't speak to me. I've been working up for this, only every time I've opened my mouth, I've been mowed down by theatrical effects. You haven't got one sincere or genuine feeling among the lot of you. You're artificial to the point of lunacy. It's a great pity you have left the stage, Judith. It's your rightful home. You can rant and roar there as much as you ever like.
Rant and roar. May God forgive you.
And let me tell you this.
I want to learn to speak another word to Mother.
Yeah,
What
happened? Is this a game?
Yes! And the game that must be played to a finish.
Zara, what does this mean?
So many illusions shattered. So many dreams trodden in the dust.
Love's whirlwind, dear old love's whirlwind. I don't understand. You and Victor, my God.
Hush! Is that little Pam crying?
Yes, and you're crying more.
Please don't say it! Spare that! You have taken everything from me. My youth, my womanhood, and now my child. Would you tear the heart right out of me? It is infamous that men like you should be allowed to pollute society. You have ruined my life, and now I have nothing. Oh God in heaven, where am I to turn to for help?